Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Cowboys' Dak Prescott gets called out by Super Bowl winning QB. The Dallas Cowboys pulled off a road win at Acrisure Stadium on Sunday, October 6, over the Pittsburgh Steelers, 20-17, and they're 3-2 going into their Week 6 game against the Detroit Lions. Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott had a strong game against the Steelers, especially when he pulled off a cool, late-game move by throwing a touchdown to wide receiver Jalen Tolbert with only 20 seconds left on the clock, setting Tolbert up for a 70-yard drive that gave the Cowboys the win. NFL fans, experts, and former players who were watching the game took notice of Prescott's showing, including former Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger, who won 2 Super Bowls with Pittsburgh. Even after retirement, Roethlisberger stays active in the NFL with his Footballin' podcast. The former quarterback has been watching his Steelers this season and, of course, made some comments about their loss against the Cowboys. Prescott has yet to win a Super Bowl, but Roethlisberger's kind words could be encouraging to the Cowboy. On his podcast, Roethlisberger said that Prescott came through when the Cowboys most needed it, and that impressed him. He had 2 huge drives when they needed it most. That's why you're paying a gut to win the game, Roethlisberger said in the October 7 edition of the show. All in all, I think for the linemen that were going down, there were guys stepping up for the Cowboys that I didn't even know who they were. That's what you want and that's what you expect. That's also what a good quarterback does. He elevates those guys that you don't know much about to bring it on and be their best. I thought he did a good job at that. Roethlisberger wasn't the only one gushing over Prescott. The quarterback got more kudos from Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin, who actually said it would be a disservice to the game to not give praise to Prescott. When talking about the mistakes the Steelers made against the Cowboys, Tomlin took a few moments to first say some kind words about Prescott. Sometimes it was just quality playmaking and throws and catches, Tomlin told the media on Tuesday, October 8. I thought Dak went down the middle of the field to Cowboys wide receiver Cavonde Turpin one time, and I just thought that that was an awesome look-off and really good throw, and we made the hit almost immediately. He added, and that just speaks to the talents of Dak Prescott. And oftentimes, I certainly want to be reflective and own our component of circumstances, but I'm doing a disservice to the game sometimes if you don't acknowledge the quality, skill set and the talents of those you compete against. Tomlin also said some kind things about Prescott in the post-game press conference after the loss, stating that he's a veteran guy and good in those moments. He added, when you're playing a good team and particularly a guy like Dak Prescott, man, you're in tight ball games. He ends up with the ball last, and you've got a chance to lose, and that's really just a synopsis of what transpired. Cowboys RB Ezekiel Elliott dumbfounded by lack of touches, and he should be. Running back Ezekiel Elliott seems to be wondering why the Dallas Cowboys reunited with him if they're not planning on using him. On Thursday, Clarence Hill Jr. of DLLS Sports shared Elliott has discussed his role with Dallas coaching staff, and he remains dumbfounded about his lack of touches in the red zone. Elliott started in Week 1 against the Cleveland Browns, rushing for 40 yards on 10 carries in a 33-17 win. Since then, his role has diminished. Over the past 4 games, he hasn't had more than 6 carries. Dallas may be reducing Elliott's role to make way for RB Rico Dowdle. In a 20-17 Week 5 win over the Pittsburgh Steelers, 3-2, he rushed for a season-high 87 yards on 20 carries and caught 1 touchdown. While Dowdle deserves more opportunities, should that come at Elliott's expense? Plus, it doesn't sound like Elliott is asking to be an RB1 but a red zone back. He has thrived in this role in the past. Per ESPN, in 15 regular season games in 2022, he had 35 carries for 97 yards and 12 TDs when he was in the red zone. The Cowboys converted 40 of 56 red zone attempts, 71.4%, first in the NFL. This season, he only has 3 carries for 4 yards and 1 TD in the red zone. Unsurprisingly, the Cowboys, 3-2, have converted 6 of 13 red zone attempts, 46.2%, which is 22nd in the league. Elliott, a 9-year veteran, is also less likely to make costly mistakes than Dowdle. On a 2nd and goal in the final moments of the game, against Pittsburgh, Dowdle made the mistake of not following the blocking scheme, which likely would have led to a certain touchdown to the outside behind pulling guard Zach Martin, wrote Hill Thursday. He inexplicably cut back to the middle and jumped in the air where he met Steelers linebacker Elandon Roberts, resulting in a fumble. Cowboys QB Dak Prescott recovered the fumble and threw a TD to wide receiver Jalen Tolbert 2 plays later. If Prescott didn't jump on the ball, Dallas probably would have lost the game. It's a long season, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones said of bypassing Elliott in critical goal line situations, via ESPN's Todd Archer. It's a long season. And so judiciously managing snaps of veteran players is a big part of the whole show. Still, the Cowboys should consider giving the 3-time Pro Bowler more touches. He can still be a valuable contributor and give their offense more punch. Cowboys running back trade rumors? McCarthy reveals depth chart plan. The Dallas Cowboys' run game was a subject of much conjecture throughout the offseason, and through the first 4 weeks, it was exactly what most thought it would be: not very good. With Ezekiel Elliott, Rico Dowdle, and Deuce Vaughn as the top 3 backs, not even mentioning practice squatter Dalvin Cook either, that didn't exactly inspire confidence moving forward. But after Dowdle's 87 rushing yards from 20 attempts against the Pittsburgh Steelers, it appears that the run game finally has some life. And going by head coach Mike McCarthy's words, expect Dowdle to continue as the lead back against the Detroit Lions. Our approach for the game this week will probably be similar to last week, McCarthy said. It is now crystal clear that Dowdle is Dallas' starting running back, and if it wasn't set in stone after the Steelers game, a look at the numbers between him and Zeke, along with McCarthy's comments, might hammer it home. Also clear, while 3-2 Dallas now owns the mark of the second-worst rushing offense in the NFL through 5 weeks, 420 yards, and are also second to last at 3.5 yards per carry and tied for 31st in the league with only 2 rushing touchdowns, major changes simply are not planned. That hasn't stopped news outlets from reporting on a coming change. Oddly, a great deal of focus seems to be on starting rumors about plucking a running back off of the roster of the Carolina Panthers. Radio station 105.3 The Fan wants to see a trade for Chuba Hubbard. CBS Sports forecasts a deal for Miles Sanders. Sanders, CBS writes, would at least give Dak Prescott more proven run support. Sanders once earned Pro Bowl honors with the Eagles in 2022 when he posted 1,269 rushing yards and 11 rushing TDs. But at 27, is he better than Rico? Worth probably a 5th-round pick, as one outlet suggests? And who picks up the tab on that $7 million paycheck? We bet Dallas says no on trading a 5th-round pick on the belief that Sanders can do substantially more here than Rico can. Hubbard? He is the starting running back in Carolina, but he's cheap in the final year of a deal that pays him about $3.2 million this year. Is that worth a late-round rental? As Carolina eventually turns over the job to rehabbing prized rookie Jonathan Brooks, it might be viable to think the Panthers fire sale Hubbard. But he makes 33% more than Dallas is paying Zeke, and 3 times what Dallas is paying Rico. What does that tell us? Aside from Week 1 against the Cleveland Browns, Elliott hasn't had more than 6 carries and 19 yards in a game. But Dowdle has had more than 7 carries in his 5 games and has a combined 31 rushing attempts for 133 yards in his last 2 outings. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Miles Sanders? Leave your opinion in the comments.